AM 650 KGAB, Cheyenne's #1 news talk radio station, and we're going to end the drama right now. We've kind of been teasing this all week. I said that on Saturday at noon we were going to announce the latest candidate to jump into the Cheyenne mayoral race. Well, we don't have a drum roll here queued up, but I'll end the drama right. It's Rick Coppinger.
Good morning, Cheyenne. Good afternoon, Cheyenne. How are you? I just wanted to announce that I am running for mayor again. I wanted to give you a professional person that knew how to do both the managerial side and the mayor side of being in that office. And it is really two parts of that job. So I look forward to meeting with all of you and answering questions if you have any.
Now, tell us a little bit about your background, Rick. You have run for office before. You're fairly well known here.
I have run for mayor. I've also run for city council. I've learned quite a bit in those times. I've met a lot of the constituents of Cheyenne, mostly in Ward 2 is where I've run. I have been in Cheyenne now 30 plus years, 35 years on the average. I have worked for the airlines, several businesses here in Cheyenne.
Worked in the oil field, I believe, for a while.
I've worked in the oil field. I know quite a bit about different aspects of business.
What makes you qualified to be mayor of Cheyenne?
Because I do know different aspects of business, but I also know Cheyenne. I know the underlying needs of what Cheyenne has to have and what the people really want to see as far as growth and what the town needs to look like and what the outskirts needs to look like, what people actually want, because I've listened to them for 35 years.
What do people want here?
People want Cheyenne to be prosperous without overgrowth. They want good roads. They want interesting businesses. They want restaurants. They want somebody to listen to what their needs actually are when they happen to have them.
Mm-hmm. And how would you go about achieving those things?
I'd like to see on a monthly basis something like this, a show where we can have people call in, tell me what is your honest opinion. But I'm also an outgoer. I'm not one that likes to sit in the office. I want to go talk. I want to know what are you thinking? Tell me face to face. Meet me eye to eye. Tell me what's on your mind. How can I help you? And ask for solutions at the same time, because my solutions may not be the exact one that you think fit, but maybe we can make them meet in the middle.
Now, there are two declared candidates so far, James Johnson and Patrick Collins, longtime city councilman. Mm-hmm. Cheyenne Mayor Marion Orr has not yet announced whether she'll be running for another term. A lot of folks think she may, but she hasn't said that. She did say in January she really enjoys being mayor. Assuming she is one of the candidates, what do you bring to the field that the other three candidates don't?
My desire to see Cheyenne continually grow. Again, I am not a politician, and I don't mean that in a negative sense, but that's not who I am. I'm a business person and a customer service person. I bring that to the shelf. That's what Cheyenne needs, somebody that can bring in businesses, can look at the UDC code, can look at the budget, can find things that we can get rid of to bring other things in.
Now, downtown Cheyenne has been a constant challenge for years. It seems like businesses just can't make it down here. What can the mayor do about that, or can the mayor do anything?
I think just encouragement. I don't know that the mayor can actually build businesses other than giving roads, making things work, making things look appropriate so businesses want to come into Cheyenne. I'm not a subsidiary type of guy. I don't believe in subsidies, but I do believe in providing those businesses the things that they pay taxes for. Quality roads, quality infrastructure, quality fire department, quality police department. Those things are important. Those things make the downtown, or the whole city for that matter, sellable to other businesses outside of Cheyenne.
Rick, getting into some specific issues here, and this is something we've all heard about with the legislature, the whole CFD, Cheyenne Police Department thing. Mm-hmm. If you were mayor, how would you handle that?
I would have left well enough alone. I don't know that it was a correct bargaining chip. I would have worked with Cheyenne Frontier Days Committee, Mr. Hersiga, on a one-to-one note. Let's make something work. There has to be an outside-the-box idea that we can do to bring in security for Cheyenne Frontier Days and the city work together. But I don't believe the city should have funded all of that security out there at the park. I believe that is their business.
Do you think the CFD should have paid for any of it?
I believe the CFD should have paid for all of it.
Oh, okay.
At least on the park grounds. Now, downtown and so forth, that's our area. I'm sorry, but we reap the benefits of Cheyenne Frontier Days. They should also have to cover their half.
So your basic argument is CFD should pay for it at the grounds, but you don't like the way the whole liquor license situation was handled.
Correct. Exactly.
Let's move on to some other topics. The inevitable topic of conversation in Cheyenne, and you all knew it was coming, potholes.
Potholes.
Can we do anything about it?
Absolutely. See, I don't know why we have the pothole problems we have. We have so many college students that come back to Cheyenne. We have so many high school students that are looking for jobs in the summertime. Why aren't we utilizing that labor pool to fill these potholes? We can do this without having to go out and hire outside help to fill our potholes. We can manage it better than that. We have a streets and alleys department. Why aren't they doing what they're supposed to be doing to keep these potholes full? It's wintertime. It's a fixable issue.
So you feel somebody's not doing their job?
Somebody's not staying on top of it.
Now, how about, by the way, we are taking calls here, and, well, looks like we have one. Put your headset on there, Rick.
Gotcha.
And good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yes, sir. You said you want to see Cheyenne continually grow.
Yes, sir, in a correct way. Growth is perspective, I guess. We have to have more tax base coming in. If we want more things, if we want to take care of things, they're going to get more expensive. We have to have a better tax base. We have to have businesses that can pay taxes. We have to have people that can pay taxes so that we're not continually saying, hey, we need more money.
I mean, okay, fine, but for years here they've been trying to shove Fort Collins down our throat.
No.
And, do we want Fort Collins? Do we want Denver?
Good heavens, no. We're Cheyenne, Wyoming. We are Cheyenne. We don't need to be Fort Collins. We have our own shopping area. I'd love to bring their money here. We need to bring calling cards that will bring their population up to us, but we don't want to be a Fort Collins. Pardon, and don't think that I'm saying anything bad about Fort Collins, because they're them. They're a university town. They have the things that they want. We're Cheyenne. We need to be our own people, but we do need to grow.
Well, for years they've been saying, we want controlled growth. All of a sudden, boom, 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 apartments going up everywhere. They got problems. I forgot what section it is with sewage because stuff wasn't done right.
Unfortunately, the apartments, and excuse me, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but we do have to have apartments. We do have a housing issue here. We have the Air Force Base. We don't have a lot of living facilities. We have people living in Fort Collins because they can't find adequate housing here in Cheyenne. So really, we do have to cover that, but that's also a plus for us. I mean, that's property taxes and so forth. Those are things that help Wyoming.
And the taxes keep getting raised. Where's the end game there?
Well, if you want to stop raising taxes, I guess we have to bring in more people that can pay the taxes that we currently have.
Oh, I don't know. There's some
it's a tough
other
one.
ideas out there, yeah, because you got people from California buying land here.
Right.
If they got the right attitude, fine, welcome.
Right.
But too many of them don't. They messed it up there.
Right.
They want to come here with their ideas.
Well, if we could get them to... If we could get them to sign that oath that Glenn Woods has, then we can let them in. Leave your ideas out. Come to Wyoming.
You think the legislature's going to do that? I mean, the legislature's over, but nobody's life, liberty, or property is safe while the legislature is in
Right.
session.
I wish I could argue with that.
You who said that, don't you?
Go ahead.
Mark Twain.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, I don't know, but all I know is I've been here I got off the plane in my dress blues 49 years ago, and I stayed because I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
And a whole bunch of things have changed, and not for the better.
Well, and when elected for mayor, I'd be honored to listen to your thoughts and get in the ideas. What do you think we need to do to make Cheyenne prosperous, but to take care of the citizens?
I don't think there's any real respect for private property rights around here anymore. But, that's just my opinion. You've got the city council telling people what they can and can't do with their business. And, when I had a business, if I was from out of town, they'd have been down there seeing what they could do. But when I had my business downtown, everybody had their hand out.
See, and I'm a firm believer that the government shouldn't have a lot of control over what you do in your business. I'm a very small government type of person. What you do inside your business, provided you own the building and you own the business, is your business. However, if it's somebody else's building and it's your business, well, there's a little gray area in there.
Well, I understand that, but for the most part, I could make a decision. I had to put up I had clothing in my business. It wasn't a clothing store, but I had a lot of clothing in there that we rented out. And some idiot came walking in, and all of a sudden I smelled somebody's hanging over all my stuff, with a cigarette dangling out of his mouth. I asked him, "What are you doing?" "Well, I'm looking at your stuff here." I said, "Well, take yourself outside and smoke your cigarette." Well, I had to put up a no smoking sign way before they thought of it. That was my choice.
Well, and that was your choice, and it was a good choice for your business. But each individual business.
But then now the government comes along. If I want to open up a restaurant for smokers, I can't do it.
Right, and that would be a downfall.
Hey, I appreciate the call today. Thank you very much.
Cheer up. Things will get worse.
Thank you.
Now, Rick, you mentioned smoking. Of course, there was a thing with the smoking ordinance a while back, then vaping. What's your philosophy on all that?
If you own the business and you own the building, what you do in your business is your business. The city should not tell you how to operate what's inside your business, so long as you're within... I'm at a loss for the word. If you want to have people smoke, let them smoke. If you want to have people vape, let them vape. But you have to own the building, you have to own the business. If it is somebody else's building and it's your business, the person that owns the building has the right to tell you what to do in there. But the company, you are the owner of the business. You have the right to make the rules inside your business.
Okay, again, we're speaking with Cheyenne mayoral candidate Rick Coppinger, who just announced his campaign today at noon. We are taking calls if anybody has any questions or comments, 632-6500, 632-3323. Rick, another issue over the last few years, and this has never actually come to fruition, but there's been a lot of discussion about a non-discrimination ordinance for the city. What's your feeling on that?
I don't believe in ordinances. If you have to write an ordinance to say you are a friendly city, are you really a friendly city? Cheyenne isn't that. Cheyenne is a friendly town. We don't need an ordinance to say if you don't play nice. Again, it comes back to this is your business. Consumerism works. If you choose not to do business with anybody, I don't care who it is, that person has the right to go out and tell 7 other people or 100 other people or 1,000 other people, this is how you do business. That alters your business. If you have to write an ordinance to make that change, you're just saying your people aren't nice people. We just have a law that makes them nice people. That's all. It doesn't do any good.
So you don't feel we need a non-discrimination?
Heavens, no.
Now, you mentioned your business is your business. Plan Cheyenne, of course, does mandate certain things as far as property appearances. How do you feel about that?
Within reason, you want your business to look appropriate. I mean, just to keep in confines. I have not ever, and I travel a lot to a whole lot of different cities, anywhere from Durango, Colorado to Jackson, Wyoming, and they all have, you have to meet certain criteria.
Right.
And so long as your property looks appropriate, there should be stop there.
So you want a certain modicum of regulations, but you don't want it micromanaged.
Exactly. You shouldn't have to have that.
Now, Rick, and I'm not sure this is something that goes directly to the mayor, but it certainly pertains to law enforcement. We have an ongoing meth problem in this city. We can't seem to fix it. Is that something the mayor should be concerned with? And if so, what should we do about it?
I think absolutely it's something the mayor should do with. I am not in law enforcement. I am not in sociology or psychology, so I don't really have the answer. But it is something that those 3 areas should look at and find means to stop meth as being a problem. We're the crossroads of America, unfortunately. So it does go through here on a regular basis. What the police department knows, my son's an officer in Laramie.
Okay.
So I hear what they do, and I know how difficult that job has to be. We have to provide them the means to do it. I don't know, honestly, what those means are, but I'd be willing to research it.
But it certainly is a problem. There's no question about that.
There is a problem with it.
Now, Rick, what are some other issues that you care about? I've been tossing questions at you. What do you feel strongly about?
My biggest concern is ordinances. We need to clear out some of these ordinances. They want to get a seatbelt ordinance. If I see you without a seatbelt, I'm going to pull you over and write you a ticket. Our police department has much more things on their mind to have to worry about that. I want to draw in people. I want to show them this is Cheyenne. We are good people. We're the right place to put your business. That's the only way to make this town work. Bring in a base. Bring in our people that live here or work here. Draw in other people outside of Cheyenne. Make Cheyenne prosperous. It's already a beautiful town, but we have to bring in more people. We have to stop the tax bleeding. We have to stop spending money outside that's not necessary. We need to cut the budget in areas that it can afford to be cut, and we need to use that money in other areas.
And again, I'm speaking with Cheyenne mayoral candidate Rick Coppinger. Phone lines are open if anybody has any questions or comments. 632-6500, 632-3323. Rick, you mentioned broadening the business base. Of course, Cheyenne Frontier Day is a big deal in this community for years and years. There is some talk that'd be nice if we could fill in some other gaps tourism-wise and that sort of thing the rest of the year. What's your feeling on that?
I think we should bring in anything that would draw money to Cheyenne. Concerts. Unfortunately, I don't know that the Civic Center is large enough to draw in a large quantity, but when we had Sticks here, it was like a sea of gray, and they weren't all from Cheyenne. They were from everywhere, and it was beautiful to see, and I know restaurants made money, and I know the bars made money. I know the parking made money. I know everybody made money, so we can bring in things like that. I love the arts, music, ballet. Heather Hansen has a fabulous ballet. There's others here that have that. We have Cheyenne Little Theater. We have the Atlas Theater. We can bring people in. All we need to do is utilize the things that we have.
Something I hear a lot, and the last caller did touch on it, is that they're trying to make Cheyenne into Colorado. How do you interpret that, and what's your statement on that?
We don't need to be Colorado. We are not anything like Colorado.
What do you think people mean when they say that?
I think they're leaning towards bringing a more liberal state, taking away all of our rights. Red flag laws, and I'm a dead set against that. I am a Second Amendment gun-toting American, and I like it that way. I think they want they're leaning towards the people that come in from Colorado, turning us into a very controlled, a very limited, affected person. In other words, the government tells us what we can do, what we can think, and how we're going to think it. That's not Wyoming, and that's not Cheyenne. That would never happen.
Do you think there has been an effort to make Cheyenne like that?
I don't know that there's really been an effect to have that happen.
You hear that comment a lot.
You do, but I think their concerns is that the growth will make that happen. I think they're looking forefront of that. And there are some people out there that would like to see some of Colorado's ideas brought into Cheyenne or into Wyoming. Casper, for instance, would be one of them. I mean, they're very liberal, and that's fine. It works for them. They're in the middle of someplace that they don't have that type of option. They can do what they want. We're Cheyenne. We have Fort Collins to our south. We can utilize them to bring them to the north.
Do we need a city manager?
No. I think
why not?
I think if you hire the right mayor, you have a manager. The proper mayor is going to know how to manage business and how to do the manager duties. In my personal opinion, the manager duties is put on the top hat, put on the show, and sell Cheyenne. The rest of the time, you're running business. You're running Cheyenne. You're talking with the employees. You're talking with the directors. You're working together as a team to build the business of Cheyenne, to keep it up and running, to keep the police department going, to keep the fire department going. Sanitation, utilities. You're working to keep all of that going. The mayor part is the personality part. Why do we want to come? Because Cheyenne cares. That's the mayor's portion of it.
Now, of course, as you know, there's a purchasing ordinance that's pending in the Cheyenne City Council. I had Rocky Case on last week. He said they were somewhat frustrated because basically they can't do much to rein in spending decisions by the mayor. What's your take on that whole thing?
I think we need to sit down. See, I'd like to say I know all 9 of them, but I don't know all 9 of them personally. I know of them. I think there has to be, that's building relationships. In other words, sit down with the city council, what do we got to do here? Let's think outside the box. Let's build a relationship. Let's work together. Let's make this stuff happen. But let's not go overboard. Let's not go crazy on spending taxpayer dollars on things we don't need to spend on. But let's work together. Let's be a team. Let's build the relationship so that the city council and the mayors and the directors of the city can all work together and come out on top. And the people of Cheyenne come out on top.
Put you on the spot here a little bit. The Bloomberg money spending. Everybody knows about that story. What are your thoughts on it?
I would have never in a million years would have gone to the Bloomberg school, nor would I have ever talked to him.
Why not?
Because that kind of money comes with a rope. So you're a puppet. It dangles. Now, that's my assumption. That's what I think. I would have never done that. And it's just not something I would do. I don't need that kind of money. We have our own personality. We don't need those type of people in our city dictating what we need to do.
Now, at least one of the candidates for Mayor, James Johnson, said the city council was at fault for not watching things more closely. What's your take on that?
I think the mayor still has a certain amount of right to do what they want to do. You can't blame the city council for everything.
Okay. So you don't feel that they really were lackadaisical in that whole thing as he sort of claims?
I don't think so, no. I think she did what she felt she needed to do. And again, I don't know her thought process, so I can't accuse or say anything derogatory other than I would have just stayed the hell away from that money.
Do you think that pursuing outside grants in general is a good policy?
I don't have a problem with pursuing outside grants, depending on where the grants come from and what they're tied to.
How about from the federal government, for example? Some people say those come with a lot of strings, too.
There's a lot of strings that tied to the federal government. I would try to stay as far away from those as possible as well. But there's nothing wrong with going towards civil grants from businesses.
Now, Rick, as you know, as I'm sure you know, because I know you follow our website, a lot of conversation comes up on certain issues about traffic in the city. People feel like we have a lot of bad drivers here, and that some of the traffic laws maybe are not as enforced as they could be, although they have made that more of a priority here the last couple of years. What do you think about the whole thing?
I am not impressed with the drivers of Cheyenne. I'm sorry.
That's not a bold statement, if I may say.
I drive 50, 60,000 miles in a car. I'm not a trucker by any means, but I drive constantly. I see bad driving on a regular basis, and I don't know that people are bad drivers as they're just not attentive. They're not paying attention to what they're doing. They are so distracted by so many things that the accidents are phenomenal. Just driving here and the roads being icy, 2 cars cut me off. That's just between Van High and here. My goodness.
But can the mayor do anything about bad drivers?
Pray. Maybe, but again, it's the police department, and hopefully working with them. And
I think they're trying. I really do.
I think they are. It's just hard to get it. Once something gets so far out, it's so hard to wrangle it back in. But once they start wrangling it back in, you know, if you run a red light, I'm sorry, you need a ticket, and that ticket needs to speak volumes. So, yeah, maybe a bigger ticket. But again, I'm not a police officer. I don't know what they can do and can't do. They have the studies that verify that. I, as mayor, would want to sit down with them and say, what are our choices? What things can we do to work together? Because we have state troopers, we have police department, and we have sheriff's department. Those 3 inside the city can do amazing things. We don't just have the city PD that can do those things.
And I think they are writing a lot more tickets these days. I haven't looked at the reports recently. Right. That's just my perception. I know you see them out on traffic enforcement a lot. Right. Do you think they're focusing too much on traffic enforcement? I've heard that comment too.
No, I think they have a tough job to try to split that down the center as far as fighting crime, burglaries, robberies, traffic. They have a tough job. No, if you break the law, you get a ticket. How can you say they are overbearing on writing you a ticket? Did you break the law? Were you speeding? Did you run a red light? Did you run a stop sign? Did you cut that guy on the motorcycle off? You got a ticket? I'm sorry. You shouldn't have done that. You broke the law. You got the ticket. Would you
have backed the cell phone ordinance had you been in office at that time? And that's before the current mayor too.
Oh, absolutely.
So you would have backed the cell phone ordinance?
Absolutely.
Because you say you're a limited government kind of guy. A lot of people argue about that.
Yeah, but distraction. I mean, if you're paying attention to your phone in front of your face, that's blatant. You are a problem. when you have that cell phone up here and I can see what you're doing. You're not hiding it. You have a ticket. You're distracted. That's like DUI, in my opinion.
Okay. Rick, we're down to about a minute left. What haven't I brought up that you'd like to talk about in just a short period of time?
Man.
Have we covered most of the bases?
I think we've done a pretty good job at this point, but I'd like to do this again. Over the next couple of weeks, I plan to sit down and go through the UDC code with some GCs.
GCs.
General contractors.
Okay.
Just so that I have a better, stronger understanding of how it's affecting them and how we can put it to practice to maybe draw in some businesses. I've heard some stories from some contractors, kind of negative, kind of positive, so I've got both sides of it, so I want to get as much information together as possible. The same thing with the budget. I'd like to go through that, and I'd like to sit down with the council and get their thoughts. Why did we do this? Why didn't we do that?
Rick, unfortunately, we're out of time. We can probably do this again somewhere down the road during the campaign. Thank you for stopping by this afternoon.
Thanks, Doug, for having me. It's a pleasure, and I look forward to meeting all of you.